Hello students, welcome to the video lectures of speech and natural language processing. So today we will talk about articulatory and gestural phonology. So what is articulatory and gestural phonology? We'll just see now. Articulatory phonology, which focuses on how speech sounds are physically produced using the vocal organs, that is tongue, lips, glottis, etc. It describes speech sounds in terms of articulatory gestures, which are specific movements or configurations of the speech organs. Gestural phonology is an extension of articulatory phonology that represents speech as a series of coordinated gestures or movements. Together, these frameworks view speech as a dynamic process of articulatory movements rather than static sound units. Hope you got this. So basically, know what articulatory phonology and this articulatory and gestural phonology is talking about. How the speech sounds are produced using our articulatory organs, and it also describes in terms of articulatory gestures. So what are these articulatory gestures? So various words that are being pronounced using various organs of our like there it might be a lip sync, or touching your tongue or teeth or etc. So now we'll see this. So the key concepts in this year, first is articulatory phonology, where speech is described as a sequence of gestures which are movements of the vocal articulators. So these gestures are goal directed, that is touching the tongue to the alveolar ridge to produce the sound called T. So when you say the word called T, you can observe this particular phenomena, your tongue touching alveolar ridge. So these gestures are goal directed, which one you this articulatory phonology, where the speech is described a sequence of gestures, that is movements of the vocal articulators. Gesture. A gesture is defined as an abstract movement or target involving one or more speech articulators. So examples of articulators, that is lips, bilabial sound, tongue tip, the coronal, tongue body, that is dorsal, velum, soft palate for nasality, glottis is for voicing. So these are various articulators that are present and which involves in speech production. Next, articulatory gestures. So gestures can overlap in time, leading to co-articulation, where one sound influences the production of another. Example, in the word key, the K sound is produced with a slightly forward tongue position due to the following vowel I. That is key. So key. So when you say key, so basically I is the following vowel, which will have a influence on this particular alphabet K. Okay. Then components of articulatory phonology. First one is construction location. So where in the vocal tract the speech sound is produced. Understood? So when we try to speak something, an alphabet or a word or something, we start our speech. So what are the, exactly where does this sound is coming out? Okay. So for example, labial sound, that is P or B. Next is alveolar sound, where tongue tip at alveolar ridge. That is the words which have T or D. So when you pronounce these particular things, you will observe this phenomena where tongue tip is touching alveolar ridge, and labial sounds. That is when you try to speak these particular sounds which have these alphabets in that particular words have lip sync. I mean the both lips touch together when we try to speak with this. For example, if you say P parrot, so definitely your both lips have to touch. Next is construction degree. How much the vocal tract is constructed during the production of a sound. Example. First, complete construction stops. Okay. Next, a partial construction is fricatives. So this is construction degree, where how much of our vocal tract is constricted. Next, articulatory movements. Speech involves dynamic movements of the articulators. Right. So since we do not only speak one word or one alphabet continuously, definitely we are going to speak continuously on any kind of topic with various kinds of usage of words and different kinds of parts of speech and etc. So that is the reason why we say speech will involve dynamic movements of the articulators. So gestures may overlap to ensure fluency in natural speech production. Next, gestural phonology. So gestural phonology represents speech as a series of timed gestures instead of a sequence of abstract phonemes. So gestural score, a graphical representation of how articulatory gestures overlap and interact over time. So each gesture involves specific articulatory movements and timing information. So example of gestural overlap we see in the word called spin, the lip closure for P begins before the S sound ends. So once we say spin, so when we start saying this spin, so immediately once S is pronounced, immediately we close our lips to make the word called P to begin, that is spin. Okay. This overlap allows for smooth and efficient speech production. So by doing this or by this kind of gesture, the word spin has been correctly pronounced. Next example for gestural analysis. So consider the production of the word called bad, B-A-D, bad. So first gestures, labial gesture is lip closure for B, right? So when you try to say this particular word called bad, so since this have a alphabet B in the starting, so being B as a bilabial sound where our lips has to close, right? So lip closure happens for B. Next tongue body gesture, lowering for the vowel, okay? B-A-D, bad. So A is the next one. Next tongue tip gesture, that is touching the alveolar ridge for D. D, when you say D, so your tongue tip will go and touch your alveolar ridge. So that is how this particular analysis will be made for each word. So overlap, the tongue begins to lower for A while the lips are still closing for B. Bad. Okay. This co-articulation ensures smooth transition between the sounds. Next, importance of articulatory and gestural phonology. So dynamic nature of speech. So unlike traditional phonetics, articulatory phonology captures the dynamic movements of the articulators by which our speech analysis will be made accurate. Next, co-articulation. Gestural phonology explains how speech sounds overlap and influence each other in continuous speech. We have seen example for co-articulation in the previous slide as well. Speech recognition and synthesis. Articulatory models are used to improve speech recognition systems and text-to-speech synthesis by simulating natural speech production. Next, speech disorders and therapy. Understanding these gestures will help diagnose and treat speech production disorders such as dysarthria and apraxia of speech. So these are some speech disorders, and in order to make some kind of diagnosis happen, this particular gestural phonology, all these things will be used here. Cross-linguistic analysis. Articulatory gestures can explain similarities and differences in sound production across various languages. Next, applications in NLP and speech processing. First one is automatic speech recognition. Articulatory models enhance the accuracy of automatic speech recognition systems by modeling how speech sounds are physically produced. So if you observe the previous examples, how the various articulatory organs are being, working for the dynamic speech that has to come out, will make you understand this automatic speech recognition where it's having the application here. Next is speech synthesis. Gestural scores are used to produce natural and smooth synthetic speech. Next, phonetic analysis in linguistics. Articulatory and gestural phonology helps linguists understand sound variations and speech patterns in different languages. That is for applications in phonetic analysis in linguistics. So thank you, students.